the Buffalo Bills travel to Denver to face the Denver Broncos in a game that, again, the favorites are kind of swapping sides here. Either side has been favored at one time or another. Obviously, that is because of the Josh Allen effect, and Josh Allen being this overwhelmingly involved creator in the Bills' offense. Because you think back to what got them here, and something that they relied so heavy on was James Cook being the leading rusher in all of football last year. I don't even think he broke 50 yards against Jacksonville, and they still were able to move the ball at a clip that was unreal. I thought Allen, that might have been one of his best performances in the playoffs against the Jags. And for most people, it's probably not even in like the top 3 with how good he's been in the playoffs. And just the load he is supposedly to bear, and now you're facing this Denver front that is going to send a lot of pressure at you. He's one of the better players against the blitz. So again, we're gonna. What do you guys got on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I will start off with the Broncos side of it all. Like this defense, first and foremost, needs to stop the run the exact same way that the Jags did. Again, they effectively neutralized James Cook, the Jags, in this past game, as you said, held them to under 50 yards, which was fantastic. And then you have to kind of swarm and prevent Yak. There were like far too many times, like Khalil Shakir. I am freezing. I apologize, guys. Khalil Shakir was able to slip out of a tackle and then proceed on for another 20 yards. And then the Broncos also just need to run with RJ. Get RJ Harvey going. ETN had a fine game, and I have absolutely no clue why they went away from ETN. ETN was averaging, I think it was like 6.5 yards per carry. And then over the course of the game, they slowly stopped. And as we've all talked about with this Bills, that like the number one place that they're gettable is this run defense. So again, they need to stop the Bills run offense, and then they need to be able to run the ball themselves. Very, very good. On the Bill side of it, you need to contain Bo. We've said it over the last year now. It seems like he's really, really been able to create, especially out of structure, rolling out. And then Josh Allen just needs to continue to be Josh Allen. Like as you said, this was one of his better playoff performances in a very long time. And I think this is the key to the victories for either team there.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun, strictly because of the hype on both sides. Obviously we talk about, the Bills and, Josh Allen specifically, but, with the Broncos and, their defense, what they've been able to do this season is grind out these really close games. I can confidently tell you that if it's that close to where it's a one possession game, like they will not win this game. I really hate the spread on this one. It's -1.5 in favor of Denver at home. I feel like if they keep it close within striking distance, like Josh Allen will take this one. So, it's going to be fun. But yeah, I don't want to give up too much because, I've got my picks later on. So.
Yeah, the injury report kind of. So, Maxwell Hairston looks to be out again for Buffalo, and Jordan Poyer left the Jacksonville game with a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for this one. But you look at some guys that they theoretically get back, and Tyrell Shavers tore his ACL midway through the game and finished.
Shame.
So that's dog award for him. And then you have a ton of guys on that questionable report. Curtis Samuel, Ed Oliver, DeMar Hamlin, all coming back from IR is a plausibility. Terrell Bernard is going to play. He's been limited all week, but he'll play. And then Ty Johnson, someone who missed last week. Like they're sitting there with the amount of DB injuries and the amount of skill position injuries. The Bills are all hands on deck at this point. And so I do think if they can't run the ball like they did in this most recent one, like it's going to be so tough that they're going to have to create those short field turnovers, which you can do with how they muddy up the picture on the back end. But I'm interested to see how they kind of deploy those guys in the back end, because I think they set up Trey White to be a player that made plays where a year ago for Baltimore he was literally unplayable. So I thought that was pretty awesome to see, but interested to see how they kind of deploy against Denver, because I don't think that run game is particularly good, and I don't think they could really lean on it at all. So again, it's all about the team who tackles and creates takeaways, right? Like that's kind of how it is these times.
Yeah.
But we move on. Yeah, the Texans and Patriots. I didn't know which one was next. I'll be honest. The Texans travel to New England off of their extreme performance against Pittsburgh in the closing quarter. You have a weird C.J. Stroud game. Thought he played fine. Dropped the football a few times. Like, you just can't do that. That's inexplicable. And then for the Patriots, feeling underwhelmed by the offense, but at the same time they were still like 40+% success rate, 400 yards, just didn't finish in the red zone, and the defense kind of took over the game. So again, it's one of those games where these two teams feel very similar and very close at the moment. And I think just talking about the matchup of how do the Patriots continue to be explosive against the Texans defense is kind of the main point. This Patriots offense has been top 3 in explosive plays all year. The Texans haven't allowed a positive dropback EPA since week 2. So just again, like, you put that into perspective, literally nobody is doing what this Texans defense is doing, and nobody has kind of been as efficient while also calculating explosives as Drake Maye has been, while limiting those like takeaways as well. So again, just that side of the matchup, I think is just very fascinating to pick.
Yes, well, and it's funny because I'll take the flip side of that, right? And it was funny because we went into that Patriots Chargers game, and I'm like, well, does the offensive line actually matter in this game? Because Justin Herbert has been able to get it done regardless. And in fact, the offensive line did matter in that game, and they were able to get after Justin Herbert. And I'm really, really interested to see if they can do the same against CJ Stroud. Again, this offensive line for the Texans have kind of rounded into form. They have looked better as the season has went on, but is still a very, very gettable offensive line. And there's one like matchup in particular that I am looking at, and that is Jake Andrews versus Milton Williams. Because Milton Williams just took over that game, and Jake Andrews in their game was all over the pace, mainly on snaps, but he did not look good. So I think if their big thing is to get after the quarterback, again, it's probably going to be because Milton Williams is absolutely dogging on Jake Andrews all game. So I'm interested to see if they said help his way, try to double team Milton Williams as the course of the game goes on. And then on the flip side of that too, their offense, I'm just interested to see how these playmakers step up. They were able to get almost like a legacy game out of Christian Kirk. It seems like he was able to get everything he possibly could have wanted every single time he was targeting Christian Kirk against the Steelers game. Obviously, Nico Collins looks to not be playing in this game, so someone has to step up, whether that is Jaden Higgins, whether that is Christian Kirk, or Xavier Hutchinson. I'm just interested to see who shows up with Nico Collins, most likely not playing in this game.
Yeah, I mean, just coming at it from a completely different perspective, I guess. The New England crowd this past weekend, man, like, shout out to them because that was fun. They really showed up to that one, and I think it played a massive, massive part in, the overall result of the game. And I mean, looking at the Pittsburgh and Houston game from Monday, I mean, call me crazy, but like, CJ kind of looked a little shook a little bit that game. And I mean, I don't know if it's just like his overall demeanor or not. I don't really analyze it too much, but it just kind of caught my eye to where like his eyes were a little bit more wide than what I'm used to him, having during, games. And I don't know if it was like pressure that got to him or just what it was, but um, it doesn't look great for Houston right now. That defense won them the game, and it's funny. I was talking to my girlfriend just last night about the scores and the games that are happening this weekend and whatnot. And when she saw that score from Monday and how Aaron Rodgers went out, she was like, "Holy cow, that must have been crazy." I was like, "It really wasn't. Like, majority of this game was a lot closer than what the scoreboard will show you at the end of the day." And I think that the defense won that.
The score was close, but was it close? This
It
is my
didn't feel like
nuanced
it.
take.
It,
That
it
was not
didn't
close.
feel like it.
It
No,
was a weird Steeler game.
When
Like, I'm
when
not
the
gonna
Will
lie.
Texans
Anderson
when the
is a
Texans
dog.
made that
Will
50-yard field goal in the fourth quarter to go up like 10-6, I genuinely was like, I don't see the Steelers scoring a touchdown. It's not going to happen. And they ended up scoring 2 touchdowns for the other team.
Yeah, I just didn't think that like the Steelers were just kind of, I don't know, there. You know what I mean? And when it comes to the Texans' performance, I genuinely feel like CJ being kind of a liability in this game was keeping Pittsburgh in it. And those turnovers that were pretty costly in this game that,
Mhm.
were because of CJ put the Steelers in different positions to be able to score, and it didn't happen as much as it could have. Um, I don't think either one of the teams deserved to win that game. Like, obviously, it's the playoffs; one has to. But it's like, dude, I mean, obviously,
I don't know, man.
a couple pick six or a couple, defensive touchdowns, I guess, can definitely win you the game. I get it, like, and that's fine. But like, neither offense looked good at all, and I guess props to the Steelers defense, but it definitely plays into my pick today.
No, CJ. I mean, CJ did not look good in this past game, but I lean a little bit more towards Matt, not because of everything that the Texans offense was able to do. More so, it was just how dominant that Texans defense was. It just felt like the Steelers were not able to move the football at all. Whether that was Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers offense, or just how good everyone is on the Texans defense, and I lean more so that side of it. I mean, that all being said, this Texas defense will keep them in the game regardless of who they play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is this just what Houston is now? Like, can they run the ball like that again? Like, do it.
It would
Do it
be
again.
great.
Because I thought they really found something in the under center game. Is that more about the Steelers than them? Who knows? But just the under center off tackle stuff to Woody Marks, I thought his cutback vision was great in the Steelers game specifically. So if they find something in that, realm this week against New England that is a fine but not great rush defense, just as they are in the past, and you don't have to, put extraneous effort on CJ Stroud without his top receiver. I think that's valuable. So I'm interested to see Woody Marks. Can you do it again? And then like even Christian Kirk too. Like can you do that again? Like 144 yards in a touchdown, creating both like major plays within this game, and even like he has the only offensive touchdown when the game was still like mattering before the Woody Marks one. So interested to see how these guys kind of just figure out how are we going to get to 20 points each week, where it's like the Niners are thinking going into their building each day, how are we going to scheme up 30 points? The Texans offense is saying, we just got to get to 20, y'all, because it's just going to put us in a position to win each and every game. So interested to see how that moves on. And then for New England, I can Can they run the ball? Can they hit some explosives? They did not run the ball particularly well against the Chargers. It wasn't perfect, but again, you don't apologize for the way that you win in this game, in this league. But overall, I think all the things around Drake Maye outside of his legs need to be ready, need to be better running the ball. You know, what is it? They had a Ramondre Stevenson 50-yard play, 50-yard check down. They had a 40-yard scramble from Drake Maye in this one. So interested to see how that stuff evens out. But then